I want to say Barak Day Hawa, Barak Day Hawa Shai, Barak Day Hawa, Barak Day Hawa Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutations to you brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. I like to say Mawathlot Babel, which is death to Babylon, and Lord willing, this is edifying to you brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. The Spirit had me wanting to just get on different topics. One of the topics I wanted to get on is prophecy, because according to 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter, the first verse, the scripture says what? For I'd rather you speak prophecy. So the Lord, Yahweh Shai, rather us speak prophecy. And there's many things that's happening behind the scenes, as in you have this Venezuela thing with America wanting to practically besiege Venezuela, but you have China and Russia, making threats on if America tries to invade Venezuela, there's going to be repercussions. So it's a beautiful thing, man, to know that we're at the end of this place and that these nations are rising up against America, man. You know what I'm saying? And the only ones that's going to be given the ability to see that are the seers of Yahweh Shai, which is who? Starting off with Elder Apostle Tahar on down in the GMS camp, and other brothers who's also teaching this truth correctly, So you'll be able to see the upcoming destruction that's happening, and that's why the Lord said when you go, that's why the scripture says in Esdras, and what is that? Second Esdras, the 9th chapter. It says what? Measure the times diligently in itself. Because if you see the times that's happening, then you know that we're always in the times of prophecy. You know what I'm saying? If you seeing all of the earthquakes that's happening around the world, if you seeing the wars and rumors of wars, if you seeing all these things happening, then you can see that we are at the end, man. While this devil is constantly adding years to his life expectancy. This devil want to add years to his life expectancy. Well, guess what? The Most High is dwindling that number down for this devil, man. And real quick, I wanted to say, anytime a kingdom went down, Yahweh Shai rised up the prophet to prophesy against it before it went down. And that's what the Lord is doing today. He's rising up his people, which are the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which is a remnant, to prophesy of the destruction of America. The scripture says in Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me of old prophesied both against many countries and great kingdoms of war, pestilence, and evil, to roughly paraphrase it. And that's what we're prophesying out here, man. We're prophesying of the same things, man. We're prophesying of the upcoming destruction to America, aka Babylon, and the downfall of the nations that's going to go into captivity under the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. It's a beautiful thing to have this truth. What the scripture saying, Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. Speak unto the people, speak unto Israel the words of prophecy, man, to roughly paraphrase it, the words of prophecy. Why? Because we have to give our people a warning according to Ezekiel 3:17. That's our jobs as prophets, Lord willing, if we are of the servants of Yahweh Shai. That's our job, is to speak prophecy unto the ears of the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because according to Ezekiel, if we give not warning unto them, then their blood shall be upon our hands. But because we're doing the will and the power of Yahweh Shai to speak prophecy into the ears of our people, the blood is not going to be upon our hands, man. It's going to be upon their own hands, And if you reject it, ultimately you're rejecting Yahweh Shai, which means you're going to be caught up in that death. What did Zechariah 14:12? It says, hey, the plague wherewith, for when they fall against Jerusalem, they shall be burnt up, man. To roughly paraphrase it, and that's what's going to happen. Thermonuclear war is going to be the end of all war. That's World War III. You know? And World War III is the end of all wars, man. And that's the time we coming in. Which means you have to continuously push. You have to pray that Yahweh Shai keep the spirit upon you. You have to be humble. You have to finish this race, man. You have to be led in the spirit, according to Galatians the fifth chapter. You can't walk by the flesh. A lot of people walk by the flesh. A lot of people love to do things that they desire. It ain't about what you desire. It's about what the Most High wants. And if you're not fulfilling the wishes of Yahweh Shai, then guess what? You're only filling the wishes of a so-called white man, Esau Edom. Because he implements wickedness upon the planet Earth, man. Upon the earth. What you people so indulge to follow, man. Which is wickedness. And the scripture says, warn to them that say good is evil and evil is good. What is good? The law, statutes, commandments. Doing the will of Yahweh Shai. And what is evil? America, man. Following after the things of America. This world. You know? So if you're not willing to follow after Yahweh Shai, then hey, man, this thing isn't for you, man. And what the scripture say, a remnant shall return unto the holy power. A remnant. You know? But yeah, man, I want to say Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. The salutation to you brothers out there doing this work in true sincerity. I like to say Mawafla Babel, which is death to Babylon. The Lord willing, this was edifying to you brothers out there doing this work in true sincerity. I like to say Shalom.